discuss about various hormones in the female body. In the last episode, we have discussed about the physiology of menstrual cycle, and in that we have mentioned about the few hormones. We'll know about them a little more in detail today. What are hormones? The meaning of the word hormone itself means to arouse. Hormones are secreted by the endocrine glands. What are endocrine glands? The word endon means inside and crine means to separate. So, endocrine glands are the ones which release hormone directly into the bloodstream, from where they reach the target organ and have their action. Then what is an exocrine gland? Exocrine gland is the one which is provided by a duct. This duct carries the secretion to the target organ. Say for example, salivary gland. Salivary gland secretes the saliva which is carried by the duct of the gland into the mouth to have the action. Endocrine gland secretes the hormone in the bloodstream. To give you an example, pituitary gland. Pituitary gland has two portions, anterior and posterior. Both secrete different types of hormones. Now to give you an example, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormones are the ones which are secreted by the anterior pituitary gland in the bloodstream, and this hormone reaches the ovary to stimulate the process of folliculogenesis or formation of an egg inside the ovary. Now let us discuss different types of hormones which are released by the glands. Let us start from top to bottom. Pineal gland, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, then we come to the thyroid gland, parathyroid glands. Lower down you have the thymus gland which is responsible for the immunity. Then lower down still we have the adrenal glands inside the abdomen which are helpful for secreting adrenocorticosteroids. Then you have either ovaries or testes. In the abdomen, you also have pancreas which secretes an important hormone called insulin, responsible for the metabolism of glucose in our blood. Now let us discuss only the hormones which are important from the female reproductive system point of view. Let us start with the hormones released by the ovaries. Ovaries release two important hormones which are called estrogens and progesterone. What is estrogen? The meaning of the word itself is mad with desire. This estrogen is either secreted by the ovaries or by the adipose tissue or the fat tissue or by the adrenal glands. Now estrogens are of three types: estrone, estradiol and estriol. Estradiol is the hormone which is very important from the functioning point of view, that is called E2. Many of you might be knowing this hormone because the levels of this hormone are tested when the patient is under treatment for fertility. Progesterone is another important hormone which is released by corpus luteum. What is corpus luteum? It is a structure which is formed after the process of ovulation, and it is responsible for maintaining the pregnancy in case the conception occurs in that particular month. So corpus luteum or the placenta which is formed after pregnancy is confirmed. These two structures release the hormone called progesterone. Let us come to the other category of hormones which are also released to some extent by the ovaries, and they are androgens. In female body, most of these androgens are bound to the sex hormone binding globulin, and we have discussed it in last episode if you remember in PCOD. When the levels of this sex hormone binding globulin goes down, the androgen level increases, and that is what is responsible for all the problems or the virilization which we see in PCOD patients. Let us now come to the anterior pituitary gland, which stimulates the ovaries to produce an egg. So that is a HPO axis. Now, this pituitary gland releases follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, and estrogens which are released by the ovary are responsible for a feedback mechanism in the pituitary gland. There are a lot of queries which arise in our mind. The first and the foremost important is when there is lack of estrogen hormone, say for example in the perimenopausal or in the menopausal age, is that responsible for all the changes which we get at the time of menopause? To some extent, yes, but mostly no. I'll give you an example. A girl before the age of menarche never has that much level of estrogen hormone in her body, but at that age, does she have the symptoms of depression and nervousness and irritability? Never. So, the lack of these hormones is not responsible alone for the symptoms of menopause. Plus, remember one thing, estrogen also is produced by the adrenal glands and by the peripheral adipose tissue. So, probably the menopausal symptoms are not because of complete lack of estrogen. We have to tune our mental status to a certain stage in life, and then the adaptability and the acceptance is much better. Besides the secretion of FSH and LH, pituitary also secretes important hormone which is called oxytocin. Now, this oxytocin is responsible for delivery pains, that is labor pains. Also, this hormone does the important function of letdown reflex, and that is extremely necessary at the time of breastfeeding. Pituitary also releases a hormone which is called growth hormone. After a certain age, it doesn't cause the growth, but it is responsible for maintaining the health, that is, the maintenance department of our body. So, premature aging is prevented by a proper balance of the growth hormone level in the body. Let us now come to the discussion of the most important hormone in the female body secreted by the pineal gland, and that is melatonin. Melatonin hormone is considered so important because the levels of melatonin hormone vary as per the diurnal variations. Means it all depends on circadian rhythm or the biologic clock in the human body. The melatonin secretion is suppressed during the light and it is activated in the dark. Now remember one thing, what is melatonin doing in the body? Melatonin is responsible for governing the function of gonadotropin hormones. It is responsible for maintaining the metabolic rate. The more the melatonin hormone, the lesser the metabolic rate. The more the melatonin hormone, the immunity is much better, and the antioxidant action of melatonin keeps the diseases away. So, maintaining the normal biologic rhythm of our day and night cycle is extremely important to maintain the good health. Because if melatonin is secreted properly, then our immunity boost up is natural boost up. We don't need any medication or any outside agents to improve our immune responses. The important characteristic feature of any hormone is to adjust the level of that particular hormone in the body as and when required and as much as it is required. So the quantity, the quality, the duration, the time for which it should be secreted, everything is decided as per the need, as per the time of the day. And these hormonal levels required by the body are in micro amount. And so you can imagine how much control the body is doing on its own. Isn't it a miracle of nature? Thyroid is one more hormone which is necessary to maintain the reproductive function. As we all know very well that if a woman conceives and she has hypothyroidism, there are chances the child born will be a cretinism child, that is a mentally retarded child. So all these hormones, they have to be maintained in a proper milieu or in a total homeostasis or in a balanced state so that the outcome of the pregnancy is better. The levels of the particular hormones required at the adolescent age, at the reproductive age, at the perimenopausal age, and in the menopausal age is totally different. Say, for example, the estrogen hormone, which is more in the reproductive age group, the levels of which go on reducing in the pre or the menopausal age group. The level of oxytocin hormone, which probably is required at time of parturition and at time of breastfeeding, it is not that much required during the other age groups or other times in the female body. So the beauty of nature is to provide a particular hormone at that particular point of time in a particular required dosage. And what is important is the balance of the neuroendocrine system. The nervous system, the endocrine system, the gastrointestinal system, everything works in such beautiful coordination with each other. The nervous responses to endocrine system are short-lived and quick, while as the endocrine response to a particular stimulus is long-lasting and protracted sort of a response. To give you an example, if we are hungry, there is always more salivation. The gastrointestinal juices are secreted. The actions of the intestines or the peristalsis is increased, and all this works in beautiful coordination with the neuroendocrine axis along with the gastrointestinal system. So once these systems behave in perfect coordination with each other, we stay in a perfectly balanced health condition. We can say that our state of mind affects the state of our emotions, and our state of emotion always supports our spiritual behavior or an attitude. So it is that spirituality, emotional behavior, and the mental behavior which is what is responsible for controlling the hypothalamus, which happens to be the center of emotions in our brain. It is this hypothalamus which controls the pituitary gland, and it is this pituitary which is in coordinating with the target organ, say for example ovary or any other organ. It is this coordination and the control which is responsible for maintaining the hormonal milieu. So eat well, sleep well, think well, and see the response of the body. Everything will work in perfect coordination with each other. And then no time you will land up with hormonal disturbances or hormonal problems. Then you won't have to rush to doctors for any problem with your endocrine system. Because we know nowadays the problems of thyroid, the problems of menstrual disturbances, everything related to these hormonal imbalances is increasing day by day. But controlling it is very easy, and that you can do it. That is what is most important.